Hey everyone, welcome back to another weekly update of my options trading journey. If you have been following me the channel, you know I recently shifted a big part of my portfolio to wheel strategies. I realize wheel is better fit to my investing style at the moment. I feel more secured in the current market structure. But I still do a little bit of credit spreads and leaps as well. I did a few leaps this week and a few credit spreads, which I will show you in a minute. This week was relatively quiet week comparing to the last couple of months, but I still made a few interesting moves. So let's jump into it. This week I closed about $723 in realized profits, and that brings my June profit to $10,800. And my total realized option profits since starting the challenge are now over $112,000. I'm really happy with where things are heading. There's still a couple of trading days left in June, but unless something unexpected happens, I will probably finish somewhere around 10,000 mark for the month. So one thing I noticed this week that I'm getting pretty close to my maximum wheel allocation. Right now I have open wheel positions in companies like Coherent, Celestica, and I think also I have multiple IREN positions. All of them is cash secured put. Combine those positions is around $100,000 of like potential assignments if every puts were assigned. That's already a pretty significant allocation for my portfolio. Because of that, I don't really want to continue opening new wheel positions right now. Instead, I'm letting these existing positions work while I wait for the July expirations. If they expire worthless, that's great. If I get a sign, I'm also perfectly happy owning those companies. So let's go to my trade journal here. I will click here to week 4 and it will come in here. Okay, here my leaps contracts I mentioned and credit spreads I open, also some wheel contracts I did. So let's start with IREN. In IREN, I total closed so far 5 contracts, but the ones I closed this week was only 3. So I profit around like $300 to $400 this week from IREN. After seeing the drop continues in IREN, I went actually and opened more contracts here. I closed on 22 on Monday. It was already high here. I opened that one's previous week. So I closed those with $300 to $400 profit. After a few days, IREN went down again. So here I opened more contracts for 42 levels, 40 levels, and 44 levels, I think, just below the 200-day moving average. I opened 3 or 4 more contracts here. I think on 25, I opened 3, and on that day, 22, I opened 2 more. So my strike prices is varies on from 40 to 50 level, which around the 200-day moving day average level. So where I'm comfortable to owning the stock basically. IREN is offering really attractive premiums because of the implied volatility remains high on IREN. And higher premiums always come with higher risk. But since I'm comfortable owning the stock, I'm happy collecting those premiums. So let's go and check my GLW wheel positions I did this week. So this week on 22, I closed GLW cash secured put positions at 155. Let's check the GLW graphic here. I think on that 22 jump here on above the Bollinger Band, I closed my 155 because it went already to 200. I think I opened that around here. My cash secured put had still expiration date with the July, but my option made already 70-80% return in the premium, so I just collected and close that trade. Right now, I'm waiting for a pullback in GLW to open a new one. Since right now having the upper Bollinger Band, I will wait more on this side, like lower Bollinger Band, like I did the previous one. So that's why my GLW trades. So the premiums on GLW have been really solid, and so far the wheel strategy has been working really well. I profit $1,400, and I think I'm doing this for a month now with 5 cash secured put. They're one of the leaders in fiber optics and optical connectivity, which should continue benefiting from AI data center investments and the demand around AI. So if I eventually get assigned shares, I'm completely comfortable holding them. So since my wheel allocation is almost full, like I mentioned, the IREN open cash secret puts, I have also some Coherent and Celestica, which is expiring in July. But I didn't just want my remaining cash sitting. Instead, I opened a few leaps positions instead of wheel because I already exposed highly with the wheels. So what I did this week, I bought 2 leaps contracts in Google and Netflix. Actually, I bought like 2 contracts separately in Netflix and one in Google. Let's check quickly Google chart here. Google pulled back quite a bit recently and reached levels where I didn't want to miss that opportunity. Actually, it is past the 100-day moving average. It can go to 200-day moving average. I have I thought about it, but I just didn't want to miss this opportunity because like 100-day moving average is not easily passed in Google. If it goes to 200-day moving average, which is like 310, I think I can get another leaps contracts on that levels as well. So another one was Netflix. So let me quickly open that. So Netflix went to the levels of 70s. So RSI is below 30 levels. So in the past, I did also some in this drop here in February, I was buying a lot of leaps contracts. I think I end up buying like 10 contracts and I sold them with a nice profit around like April. So I'm trying to do the same thing right now in this drop in the last, I think, 2 weeks. I'm collecting Netflix contracts. If it goes to like 60 levels, I will try to open more. Both Netflix and the Google has 2028 expiration, so I'm very comfortable to waiting for them a few months or weeks if it's necessary. So I think they will go back to like 80, 90 levels in somewhere in the future for Netflix, and for Google, it will go back to 400s, I think. So those were my leaps contracts, and I opened 2 credit spreads here. So one of them is Western Digital and the other one is Celestica. Nothing too aggressive, just one contract. Since my most of my capital is already allocated like with the wheel and the leaps, these spreads are just mainly there to generate some additional premium while I wait for my July wheel positions and while I wait my leaps contracts to play out. I'm also keeping the sizing relatively small, as I mentioned. After the lessons I have learned over the last couple of months, I'm trying to stay disciplined instead of forcing the trades, forcing the contract size. I opened these on Friday. Both of them went like around 8 to 10% drop. And I put the strike prices around like 100-day, 200-day moving averages. I don't think they will go that much down. And I have like 45 days expiration on these 2 stocks. So I will be following on this one. I already have 50% automatic profit tracker on my credit spreads. If there's a big jump, little bit like 8 to 10%, and the next week I can exit from them automatically. But we will see. We have a lot of expiration dates so far. So that was all my trades, the ones I open and the ones I close. So the biggest thing I will be watching next week is my Celestica cash ticket put because it expires on July 2nd, which is Thursday, I believe. That position will probably determine what I do next. If it expires worthless, I will most likely to sell another cash ticket put and continue the wheel on the Celestica. But if I get a sign, then I simply move to the next step of the strategy and start selling covered calls against the shares. So either outcome is completely fine with me. That's exactly why I like the wheel strategy, to be honest. Like instead of hoping one specific outcome to happen, I'm just comfortable with both possibilities. I will also continue watching my IREN and coherent positions. Also, I have leaves from the previous month, which is Amazon and Visa and McDonald's. Those names are comparing to AI stocks is kind of boring names like McDonald's, like Visa, Amazon. So but I want to have this balance since I'm investing in the wheel side. The stocks like Coherent, IREN, Celestica is more volatile stocks, more like AI stocks. So I want to make a balance in my leaps contracts. I'm going more stable names like McDonald's, Visa, like Google, Netflix, and Amazon. So these are my leaps contracts right now open and all of them is 2028 expiration. So I will be checking, of course, those also in the next following weeks. Overall, I'm really happy with how the June turned out with 10,000 profit, which is matching with my average monthly profit since the last year. I'm hoping a similar results in July as well. As always, thanks for following the journey. If you're enjoying these weekly updates, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. I will see you next week to find out what happens with the Celestica positions and my leads contracts. So see you next week.